Hey boys, this week's parsha is called tetsei, and what it has in it is also a whole bunch of mitzvot, or laws of the Torah. And again, this one has a lot to do with some of the laws of war. In the beginning of a tetsei actually means when you go out, and what it's talking about is when you go out to war, there are certain behavioral aspects that the Jewish people have to keep during war. For example, you're not allowed to take women as slaves. You're not allowed to assault them, sexually assault them. And if you do find, there's the laws of what's called the laws of the beautiful women. If you do take, in those times, a woman as a captive, you're supposed to take her home. You're not supposed to violate her. You actually shave her head and let her mourn for her family who she's lost. And after a month of allowing her to mourn, if the soldier still is attracted to her, then he can marry her only. But he can't assault her or anything like that before he marries her and treats her respectfully. And then there's all the laws of how a Jew is supposed to treat his wife, and if he actually marries this woman, he's supposed to, in a way, put her on a throne, because a Jewish man is supposed to treat his wife very well. Other things the parsha talks about is in the military camp, you can't bring any prostitutes or act immorally in the military camp, and there's strict codes of hygiene that have to be kept. So even though it's a military camp, the Jewish military camp is supposed to be a place of holiness and purity. The parsha also talks about other laws. For example, employees have to be paid on time. Very important. You can't try and chintz out or cheat an employee. If you have an employee, you have to actually pay them on time, because the Torah says that the employee, he needs the money. So usually, especially a day laborer, they need their money so badly they depend on you as an employer, so you must pay them on time. Also, there's certain aspects of charity. It says, and especially in those days, a lot of people made their living by agriculture. If you're plowing your field, and you forgot to plow a certain section, you cannot go back a second time and plow that section. You're supposed to leave it for the widow, for the stranger, and for the poor. And also, whenever you plow your field, you have to do it if it's a square field, you have to leave the corners unplowed, and that way, again, for charity, the stranger, the widow, and the poor are allowed to go and take from the field what's left over. Just another aspect of charity that permeates all the laws of Judaism, in that it was, in a way, a social security system through the agricultural ways that they had to give charity to the poor people, make sure that they're taken care of. And God says also that if you do this and you give charity in the ways that He subscribes, then Israel as a whole, the nation, will be blessed. And so, in a way, it was the first state that made charity a very important part of the national what do you call it, laws, or the laws of the nation. So charity, extremely important. The parsha ends off on a bit of a sour note, or a scary note, and what it's telling us is to remember Amalek. Amalek was the nation who, when the Jews first came out of Egypt, they attacked us. And what they did is they attacked the people in the rear, the old, the feeble, the crippled, the ones who were lagging behind. Amalek came, the people of Amalek, and they murdered the people in the rear. And God says in this parsha that He will always be at war with Amalek. And it's said today, even though we don't know exactly who the nation of Amalek is, it has sort of become like a spiritual nation, and it infects certain types of certain nations. It said even that the Nazis were Amalek. It's being traced to the certain portions of Europe. Again, also, who else is Amalek? Ahmadinejad and Iran are supposed to be Amalek. Those who wanted not only go to war against Israel, but actually have the intention of annihilating Israel. So Amalek exists today, and we're commanded to, by not only by remembering Amalek, we have to always be at war with Amalek. And so Amalek is gaining strength right now in the guise of the Islamo-fascists, and it's our duty to be at war with Amalek. So that's it, guys. The parsha tetsei. I'm speaking to you right now from my deck on my beautiful apartment in Jerusalem. I hope to see you guys next week, and have a great ride.